Welcome back to PF International and the Tuto Money Super British Karting Championships. It's Senior X30 up next, and the man joining me is the man in this class worldwide, the world champion, Oliver Hodgson. Congratulations on your win at the end of last year. Fantastic result for you. It's been a long time coming, that.
Yeah, thank you very much. It has been a long time coming, because the previous 2 years we were really fighting for it, and 2 mechanical failures in the previous years. It was nice to finally get over the line first in that World Championships last year.
And you've started this championship like you mean to go on, like you ended that one, pole in time qualifying. You won the first race earlier on, the first heat.
Yeah, we've had a very good run so far this weekend. As always, though, it's the finals that tomorrow that count. Yeah, looking forward to getting stuck in and hopefully some good competition in the finals. And
what's your plans for the rest of this season? What are you racing?
Right, so I've got this Senior X30 British Championships. I'm doing this throughout the year, and then abroad I'm racing in the Senior OK class, CIK European Championships in the World Championships in that class also.
And what can you say about the sponsorship package you have with Paul Fletcher, who owns the circuit? He invests a lot of money, or has done, in your career over the years. We know he's got a lot of money, but he does have to spend it. What can you say about the support that Paul's given you? Yeah,
it's an absolute pleasure to race for Paul. Very, very grateful of the opportunity I've got with him, being able to race for him fully supported. But it's also great to be involved with someone who's so passionate about the sport. He obviously puts a lot into the sport. He doesn't have to put into the sport, but he does for his own pleasure. I'm one of the very lucky ones who was also part of that with Paul. I obviously getting this all funded for me, so I'm incredibly fortunate, and hopefully I can repay Paul with some enjoyable weekends and lots of race wins throughout the year.
Well, never more important is it to win for Oliver Hodgson than here in what is basically his backyard at Senior X30. He's won everything thus far, well, very nearly. Owen Byatt, Levi King and Morgan Porter, Elliot Harvey and Joe Turney on the third row, Lewis Malin and Brad Pennell from Turner and Wilson rounding up the top 10. There's a few to watch just outside there. Jensen Brown, Rashid Ghanem has been pretty strong all through the weekend, and there's a few more towards the back who will definitely be wanting to make up progress. They're in the grid hatchings, they're down the tram lines. Let's Go Racing at PF International once again. Good start, and this is going to be an interesting one. Can Byatt's going to get spun! Byatt goes across the grass! Byatt had a great chance to go after Hodgson in this one, and it's all gone pear-shaped. It just ended up with 3 carts into the same bit of road. That was nobody's fault. 3 drivers in tricky, slippery conditions trying to go for the same bit of tarmac. Any normal situation in the dry, Byatt would have got away without a spin, but let's watch it again. Straight off the line, Hodgson's got himself into exactly the racing line he needs to be in. Byatt's going to go with him, but no, there's 2 carts together. In the dry, that wouldn't even have been an issue. In the wet, Byatt gets spat out. What a shame for Owen Byatt. A couple of others avoiding action, but Byatt now slips down to the back of the grid, and that is heartbreaking.
And the rain is still very fine. It's still drizzling. It's not pouring down, but you can see the rooster tail starting to come off the rear tyres, the front tyres as well, in certain parts of the track. It's reasonably, it's okay here, as you see the 21 making a move, but it's still getting progressively worse, the track.
Yeah, it's a tricky position for these guys to be in the early stages. Oliver Hodgson, however, no tricky problems for him at all. He knows every single condition of this circuit. Elliot Harvey, though, has got himself in a second position off the start from the 3rd row of the grid. Great work for him. Morgan Porter in 3rd place. Levi King, then Brad Pennell, Malin, Turner, Robinson, Turney and Ewan Wilson. And already there are some big movers. Luke Hughes up into 15th place. Henry Laws has come up from the back of the grid to 19th. We knew he was going to be a strong one, and already it's going to be an interesting one for Elliot Harvey to try and close up on Oliver Hodgson, the man who has won everything except the kit bag raffle this weekend. He's pretty much got his name stamped on everything that has first place attached to it. Brad Pennell, trying to make his way up the order, but he's got a bit of a hustle coming on from Lewis Malin at the moment. Thomas Turner in the 3 is in there as well, but look at the man behind them. That is Joe Turney, having dealt with Saul Robinson. Turney is the man to watch. He's been making progressive progress all the way through this weekend. He's had very strong speed throughout. He's doing both senior classes at Rotax and X30 this weekend. It's all good track time and knowledge for him. Up the inside.
That's a great move.
Yeah, that's a tricky overtaking move as well, on a very difficult corner to get an overtaking move done. So Turner definitely going up in a decent position. Who's that going sideways?
Contact further back in the field. That's the 18, Jake. Nearly lost it, but managed to collect it together.
Scott Jackson just about getting away with that one, the leading rookie as well. So Jackson saving his bacon there with a run round the outside. That's learning the hard way, I guess. Elliot Harvey is dropping Morgan Porter. He's just done the fastest lap, a 1:12.64. The only person who's going faster than him at the moment is the man in the third sector who's fastest of all, Morgan Porter. How about these two having a wrestling match down to the braking zone? That is amazing as the 12 Ewan Wilson dives up the inside and gets Saul Robinson. That wasn't karting, that was boxing. They were trading uppercuts and jabs.
Bumper cars down the back straight there into hairpin one, and they're pretty lucky in these conditions that it didn't go pear-shaped.
Well, in the dry, both of them would have had a lot of damage, I think, in the way they were barging each other in the slower speeds of the wet conditions. They're all right with it. And now getting onto the tail of them is Alexander Huang, the young man from Singapore, as he tries to make a move on the inside. Alexander Huang has run out of road. He's going to make the same move as Turner did a previous lap, and Robinson's going to get spunted sideways. Goodness me, that is one heck of a save for Robinson. How did he only lose one place? And now he's coming back, and Alexander Huang has vengeance. Meanwhile, this is the battle further up the road. This is a nice little tussle. The 6 is leading the charge. Levi King, who's been very strong this weekend too. And up the inside, that is Joe Turney getting another place, this time on Lewis Malin.
Was that Saul Robinson or David De Gea in the 72 Cup? Because that was one hell of a save.
Absolutely terrific work from him as they come out of the first hairpin, down towards the second. Levi King, the man from Sevenoaks, in P4 at the moment, hanging on in front of Brad Pennell and Thomas Turner. Joining them is Joe Turney. That's going to get very confusing this year, isn't it? Turner and Turney as they continue to battle in the top 6, but Levi King is holding on to it for the moment. Look, so much more confidence from the 10 of Brad Pennell as he charges after Levi King. He can see what the man in front of him is doing and can respond to it instantly. And that's where a lot of drivers are going to make up these moves. Terrific stuff from the drivers as they come through. Hodgson in the lead, but there is Elliot Harvey. Look how close he's getting. Harvey is absolutely mullering him around this circuit. He was half a second quicker in the first split. Quicker again by 200ths in the final split. So Harvey, for once, is looking like the man who's going to get the victory here.
Slides through this big loop, but he's right on the back of Hodgson now. Oliver Hodgson was talking earlier about his relationship with Paul Fletcher. It's been a fantastic one. I was so pleased that Oliver took the World Finals down.
Sorry, that's Turney on Turner. So up into the top 6 comes Turney.
Yeah, I was really pleased for Oliver last year when I heard that he'd won the World Finals. He is top quality, Oliver. He's one of the nice guys in karting, and however, he should be winning this here at PF International, his home track, but at the moment
Harvey's giving it to him.
It doesn't look like he's going to. Yeah. Harvey just looks like he needs to pick the spot to get by, and he's going to clear off.
This is amazing stuff. As up into 4th place has come Brad Pennell. He's got Levi King, and Joe Turney is going to be the next one to charge after it. We've got Thomas Turner there in 7th position. That looks like Sean Butcher has come into play, the 57, up into 8th place. Another driver who's not having the greatest of weekends by his standards, but in terms of this race, Butcher's made great progress. He's up 3 places from just outside the top 10. Harvey's in the lead. Harvey is in the lead. I'm not sure where he got Hodgson, but Harvey is through into P1.
Outshot of the cameras, obviously, and already, look, Jake, he's already pulled a couple of kart lengths. Now, the one thing about Oliver Hodgson is he's got a very cool, calm head. He will not give up. He won't quit. He'll know that he doesn't need to win this in terms of, he's not going to win the championship this weekend, but there's pride at stake.
I think Turney's made up another place as he comes through on Levi King, I think, as he got himself into 5th position. We'll have to double check as he comes down the straight, but I think Joe Turney has picked up another driver, and that's got him into 5th position. 4th position, I think, as Sky Siddle sadly retires from the race. One of the junior competitors in Birrellart UK last year and a race winner there. Scott Jackson out of the race as well. That's a disaster. He was the leading rookie, so Scott Jackson has come off on the first sector, so that's a retirement for Jackson, a retirement for Siddle, and that means that the new leading rookie is Cole Kilner down in 19th.
Yeah, Scott Jackson was running in 12th place at the end of the last lap, so problem there for Scott. Bit of a shame, but anyway, he'll come back stronger next time.
Look, he's leading the charge now. Joe Turney has worked his way up into 4th position. Great racing from Joe Turney. I've been watching him out in Europe, both in Valencia and in Salisbury's in the European Championships. This man, 2016 Junior Max champion at Super 1, don't forget. The young man from Milton Keynes is having a whirlwind start to his season where he just makes other drivers look second rate. Look, he's just disappearing from this queue. This is meant to be a tussle for position. Joe Turney is just starting to get away. He finds grip out on the circuit where others are just struggling to even think about it.
Think about Joe Turney, Jake. Been watching him this weekend. He, a bit like Clayton Ravenscroft we'll see later, he's one of those drivers, and I can't define it in words, but he's got that thing going on. He's got the look,
he's
and
got
the confidence he's got it, whatever it is. I can't define it in words, but you just look at these drivers and you think they've got so much confidence. They put the karts down on the grid. They're not looking at anybody else thinking, I've got to beat them. They know that everybody's looking at them thinking they've got to beat me if they're going to win this race. And yes, I know he's not leading this race, but he is now coming through to 4th place after having not the best start for him. He's made up a couple of places from P6 on the grid, but he's certainly one of those drivers you look at and you can see him as a future world champion, as indeed I can see Clayton Ravenscroft a future world champion as well. I'll talk about Clayton later in the programme. Here comes a move by there's Ansel Robinson.
Oh, Robinson's going around! Robinson's going around as the 49 dives for the inside. Josh Thompson-White and Saul Robinson is going to have to come back from a long way now. That is a disaster. Now, the question there is, could that one have been avoided? Let's have a look at it again.
I think, well, the 49 comes down the inside. He's in a straight line.
That's Thompson-White on the inside.
Now look at Saul there, has a look at him. He knows he's there and turns into him.
Oh, well, that's very revealing, unfortunately.
The 49 then turns away from him. Then he has another go as he's coming into the turn. That's only ever going to go pear-shaped. You can't expect the 49 to go on the grass. I'm sorry, Saul. But round he goes. Again, I think you said earlier, Jay, in the dry conditions, probably get away with that. But look at this. Look what happens. He ends up on the track.
Oh.
He is very lucky.
How close.
Wow. If other karts were right behind, they would have collected him. That would have been a huge smash.
Well, we've had a few near misses this weekend. Of course, the biggest one of note was Harvey Ryby in the X30 minis. Oh, we got a spin! A double spin very nearly for the 26. Goodness me. I wonder if that's a little bit of seasickness for Eleanor Morris now as she gets herself back into position. That was spinning around like a spinning top. And now that's Butcher making the move on the inside of Pennell. So Butcher makes up another place. Henry Laws, meanwhile, is not far off the back of this. Henry Laws started down in, well, I'm trying to do the math, 31st position, and he's now in 12th.
Fantastic drive by Henry Laws. These are the sort of conditions, Jake, when you start at the back of the grid, you can make places up if you've got the right setup on the kart. If you've got a better setup than anybody else, you love the wet conditions. These are not, it's not pouring down with rain. It's really damp. It's still drizzling, but it's not as bad as it perhaps may be later in the day. But you can make up places in these conditions from the back of the grid if you've got a good setup on the kart and you're confident in the conditions.
This is what I like to call Canada 2011 weather. It's not dry, it's not wet, it's that fine line in between that drivers just cannot get their heads around. Oh, Hodgson's making a move on Harvey. That looked a little too easy for my liking. I wonder, has Harvey got a problem? Because Hodgson, look, Harvey, look, he's skating under braking. Has he got an issue?
We're hearing he may have a throttle issue, Jake.
Well, that would be catastrophic.
And that's a shame for him because he looked to be a clear winner there.
This is the penultimate lap, of course, so Harvey has pretty much got this race wrapped up until Hodgson appears. Look at him down in the braking zone. He doesn't seem to be having too major difficulties. He's looking back just to see.
Behind now.
He wants to see if he can hang on to second place.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly what he's thinking about. I've got a problem. Can I hold on
yeah, look, he's looking down. Looking down. I think you might be right. Looking down at his right foot, that's the throttle. He's having difficulties. Oh dear for Elliot Harvey, who had this race pretty much sewn up and in the bag. Elliot Harvey now really struggling. Meanwhile, further back, we've got Morgan Porter desperately hanging on to third position on his own, effectively. But Joe Turney is trying to close him up. And Turney's going pretty rapidly at the moment, actually. He's not getting enough, or he's not getting close enough to take that third place off of Morgan Porter, but he's doing a reasonably good job. Brad Pennell in there as well. Last lap.
Joshua Thompson White has made up 13 places so far. Henry Laws has made up 19 as they go across the line this time.
Well, fair play to Harvey. Despite the fact that we're hearing he's got throttle problems, look how much he's still challenging Hodgson. He still has a chance if Hodgson makes a mistake. Hodgson looking back just to see where Harvey is. Harvey is still taking it to Oliver Hodgson, even with this apparent problem that we're hearing about. He's still going for it.
Oliver Hodgson there in the virtual championship points, top left of your screen. He was on 194. He's just gone through in the lead. He's got up 2 points.
Harvey very nearly goes into the back of Hodgson. That is definitely a throttle issue because that is not Harvey's driving style. Look, he's getting a lot closer to Hodgson than he normally would be under normal circumstances. The car is all over the shop.
That's it. All over. That's the mistake that Oliver Hodgson...
Oh, he's gone wide!
Even bigger mistake!
Oh, Elliott, it's obviously the problem is getting worse and worse. He is doing his very, very best to wrestle away from it as Hodgson goes into the chicane. Oh, and that's into the barriers! Harvey's gone into the barriers. He should get that recovered, but oh, disaster. He's going to lose the place on the podium. Hodgson wins it. Porter is going to come through for second. He's happy about that. Joe Turney is going to mug a podium position in third place from Thomas Turner and Elliot Harvey. Gut-wrenching for Harvey. What a disaster from his point of view, but fair play and a great fight despite those throttle issues. Hodgson is your winner from Porter and Turney. Turner in fourth from Elliot Harvey, who should have won that race. Levi King in sixth place from Brad Pennell, Sean Butcher, Lewis Malin and Josh Thompson-White from the Isle of Man. Well, Oliver, it's practically your backyard, but it wouldn't be right if you didn't walk away with the victory. It must have been quite a good one out there.
Yeah, well, I certainly didn't walk away with the last one. A bit of a shallow victory, really, because the other lad I was racing with had a problem, but it was fantastic throughout the rest of the weekend. Flawless effort from the team to deliver that race-winning kart for me each time. Yeah, it's a very nice start to the season, considering last year we had probably the worst start to a British Championships we've ever had. So to come away with a clean sweep, it's a pleasure.
And no doubt there'll be a few more rounds to add and hopefully a few more trophies to put on the mantelpiece later in the season too.
Oh yeah, we're gunning for it all the way, so as start as you mean to go on.
4 wins from 4 starts. Oliver Hodgson takes the maximum, 196 points for the meeting. Levi King and Lewis Malin very close together in second and third. Joe Turney and Morgan Porter separated by just 1 point. Senior X30 in 2018 should be quite a spectacle. In part 6, Junior X30 will try and take the dial up to 11.